Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. The commercialization of a new technology that produces cold-briquetted metallic iron is imminent, with commissioning taking place this month. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Shannon.
Now, the new technology which creates iron from waste makes use of the less expensive thermal coal rather than coking coal. What benefit will this have for the steel industry?
Well, you know, the coking coal is very expensive, and thermal coal is about a third of the price and more available. And so I think it could be a great benefit to the steel industry in South Africa particularly, which is looking for a developmental steel price. Because here you have this Palabora site that has been building up magnetite for decades. And, you know, the Industrial Development Corporation and others have been looking at a solution there. And along comes, you know, John Beachyhead and his bunch of entrepreneurs. And they are turning this to account with smiles on their faces. And it could mean that instead of, you know, having a steel plant subjected to the vagaries of the iron ore price, which is difficult when you're in steel making and the price is bobbing up and down and you've got volatility, there could be a sort of fixed price arrangement going into our steel industry. We know that the Industrial Development Corporation has also got Score Metals, so there could be some meeting of the minds there. IDC, which is state-owned, owns a third of this operation. So I think the jury's still out as to what will happen, but there are definitely confidence levels that are very high around the commercialization of what is a sort of a super scrap. Instead of having iron ore fed into blast furnaces, you have this super scrap fed into electric arc furnaces, which are very popular around the world. They normally take ferrous scrap, but this is a product that is above that because it doesn't have the same deleterious materials in it. So it fetches a price premium and you get like 3 times more than you would for the normal iron ore. And it's all available on surface, which means that with an agreement with Palabora Mining, they can turn this 240 million tons of available product, might not all go to them, which has about more than 50% iron content, into a new metal product, a new iron product that could possibly go into our electric arc furnaces here and the world, because it travels well in ships.
Most exciting is that this technology is completely South African.
Exactly. You know, metallurgists have been grappling with this for a long time, and these minnows, really, and a small company come in and they seem to be able to put it together, you know, using thermal coal rather than coking coal, and not a lot of energy.
On that note, the technological process self-generates sufficient energy to run the operation. What are the benefits of this?
You know, it's the off gases that are generated that can then create the electricity that is needed for the process. You know, this sounds amazing. And so you can go to remote areas and you've got to bring in, of course, the thermal coal, but you take iron out, which is far more valuable. So the business case seems to be firming up very, very strongly. That the pilot plant already could be increased in size. They're already thinking of that. You know, the pilot plant is hardly up, and which would produce about 50,000 tons, which is a moderate amount per year. They're thinking of taking it to 500 million tons, you know, 500,000 tons. Already those plans are on the drawing board already. The funding for that has been worked out behind the scenes. So it's quite an interesting way of going about turning a waste product to account. You've got the environmental benefit and you've got this new high-value product.
What other benefits are there for South Africa in general?
Well, you know, you can, the downstream possibilities are here. As we look into the space of South Africa, you say, look, how do we increase job creation? And manufacturing increases job creation, but how do you increase manufacturing? You have lower priced inputs or more valuable inputs coming into your steel production. You know, we found that manufacturing creates a lot of jobs, and steel production is also a big contributor in manufacturing. And I think that's why the Department of Trade and Industry has been prioritizing steel production. And this could have a very good benefit when it comes to producing steel locally.
And there's also the topic of beneficiation, which is on everyone's minds.
On everyone's minds, and not easy though. You have to have the business case, but people are assured now that is really the way to go in Africa. You hear the Africans singing from the same hymn sheet, where possible, wherever possible, let's add value to our metals and minerals so that value can be translated into more jobs at home, more wealth at home, and try and uplift this continent and this country.
Well, thank you very much, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Shannon.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time for more news and insight into what's happening in the mining world.